Have you ever driven around Atlanta at rush hour? If you haven't, good for you because it's a very frustrating feat. Why is it set up that way? Why is it so awful? Well, the reason can be answered in Unit 2.1, where we're talking about populations and how they grow and why they grow. So, Atlanta was set up a long time ago and it wasn't supposed to get that big. But as you can tell by how frustrating it is to drive there during traffic, it's horrible. So, the first topic that is covered in this 2.1 lesson is the difference in between exponential and logistic population growth. Exponential growth can only occur if a population has everything it needs to survive. So, think about bacteria. You get bacteria into some kind of area, it has all the food, all the space that it needs to survive. So, it can grow exponentially. So, that's why that curve looks like the letter J because it can just grow and grow and grow. But is that real life? No, because sometimes, somehow, somewhere, it's going to start running out of space. And that's where logistic growth comes in. So if you look at the logistic growth curve, it looks more like a letter S. And that's way more real life because at some point it's going to run out of food, it's going to run out of space, or some kind of limiting factor that it has. So then it's going to reach what is called its carrying capacity, which is the amount of population that that area can survive with. Okay, so the last part of 2.01 with population growth is the difference in between density dependent and density independent factors. So, strict textbook definition of density dependent factors are ones that are affected by the density. Duh, of course. So, for this one, I'm going to give the example of the bubonic plague. You learned about this in some kind of social studies class at some point in time in your life, maybe even this year. So the bubonic plague happened in an area of Europe that was very, very populated. So because there were so many people that lived there, it was able to kill people a lot faster. So that would be an example of density dependent because it depends on the density. As where density independent, it doesn't matter what happens in this area. It doesn't matter how many people live there or how many organisms are there. It's going to affect the population. A really great example of this is any shape, form, or fashion of natural disaster or act of God or nature. So currently we have issues with flooding down in Louisiana. So this is a great, great example of density independent factors because it didn't matter how many people lived in that area that it was going to cause devastation.